Okay, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, and this morning I was talking to you about this apple tree in my backyard here. This apple tree has been here a long time, and it sits next to another apple tree right here that's just doing fine, doing great. And this apple tree has fed my children. And sadly, this tree has died. And I decided to repurpose the tree. So what we did was I had some Concord grapes starts that I got from my father-in-law quite a while ago. And I've been needing to build a trellis for them. And when we decided that we had to do something with the tree, started talking about it at breakfast this morning, and you know, everybody agrees the tree has died, and it's a real shame that the tree's died, but I came out, I showed it to you, and what we did was we got up there and we cut down a lot of the branches so it's just like this. And you know, it will dry. And because it's apple, it will stay there a long time. And I just see that a friend of mine from my childhood, Stephen Wright, just chimed in here. I can see it just right. And I think maybe the reason why I decided to do this, to put these Concord grapes here, is because when we were kids, we would wind up in old apple orchards behind my parents' house. And there would be Concord grapes that would grow up these trees and apparently choke them out. Maybe. Or maybe the trees died and then the grapes grew on them. So that's kind of, I think, where the idea to do this came. Because it was my idea. And then this morning I likened it to the tree of liberty or the tree of life. And that sometimes there's some problems that happen and it chokes the tree out. And I don't think I went far enough with that analogy, because this particular tree was choked out by parasites. And I think a lot of times in our people that we elect to lead us become parasites. And they no longer produce, right? And what happens is, after a while, all they know how to do is be parasitic. And what can happen is the society can falter. Society can die if you don't get a handle on it fast enough. I mean, if you don't have people that are producing real live things, you can wind up with a dead tree like this. All right, so we don't want to let that happen. But I think as we go through this process, like we just had the election yesterday, I think it's important to be able to weigh out these people and decide, are they productive people or are they parasites? And I realize that, you know, parasites, they're necessary in nature and maybe they're necessary in our society. But I don't think we want them leading us. All right, so that's just something to think about, and to kind of weave it into the whole Homestead thing. And the Homestead thing, now that I'm thinking about Stephen Wright, I would not be the person I am right now if that individual weren't in my life, Steve Wright. Because believe it or not, when I was a kid, I was very timid. I was afraid to go in the woods. I was afraid to climb high up in trees. There was lots of things I was afraid to do. And Stephen Wright was one of the people that I knew that epitomized fearless. Totally fearless. I watched him do things and I thought, that kid's going to die. But he made it through, and I learned a lot from him. A lot of woodsman skills, a lot of things, a lot of attitudes about never giving up and things like that from Steve Wright. And he's still out there kicking around. Good to know you're out there, Beeve. All right, well, here it is. We've got Concord grapes at the bottom. My next step is going to be to put some guide wires on, because Concord grapes will grow really, really fast. And I got to do a little looking around to see if I can mix Concord grapes with other types of grapes. But I remember in my childhood seeing trees that were just totally covered with these. And you don't see that out here in the Midwest, or at least I don't. But back in New England, you see it all the time. And I'd like to do a little research on the Concord grape and find out if it's even native to the United States, because I'm not sure if it is. I'm reading a book right now called Our Founding Gardeners, and it's all about our founding fathers and their attitude towards agriculture. Agriculture is one of the few things where you're actually producing wealth from very little input. You're actually producing something. I mean, I may take a seed, but I don't provide the sunlight, I don't provide the rain. That stuff's all provided for me. So, you know, you've heard me say before that I don't believe in the saying there ain't no free lunch, because agriculture does produce things from very little or nothing. You know, as I've shown, a lot of our weeds that we grow around here, or our forage that grows around here, we had no part of that. It just pops up. You get these beautiful plants that pop up that when we feed them to our animals are producing proteins for us. So, okay, and another thing, like, I want to point folks towards where our Anyone Can Farm Homesteaders Guild is going to meet. If you wish to join up with this, you can go to bakersgreenacres.com, and there's a tab there, Education, and then you can go in there and you can sign up. This is going to start on or about the 1st of September. I'm thinking it's going to be more like the 5th, because here's how it's going to go. I'm going to pick the topics that I think would be necessary if I was going to plop you in Plymouth, Massachusetts. You were just getting off of the Mayflower. And it just so happens it's going to be September. So you're not going to be tilling the ground in September, but there are other things that you're going to have to do. Now, if somebody takes this class and they take it in December, it's going to be different. If they take it in the spring, it's going to be different. But the first block, I'll give you a hint, is going to be all about water, because that would be the very first thing that you would have to secure, and not seawater. It has to be fresh water. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to make a video, and it's not going to be one of these videos. It's going to be a real good video, because I got some new camera equipment coming. This is just an iPhone. If I stop this, I can't start it back up, but the new camera that I got coming, I'll be able to stop it and then move to another section and show something, and then sit behind a desk and show some diagrams, and then read some stuff, and then show some stuff, and then walk around and talk about some stuff. So hopefully each module will be near about an hour's worth of information coming right out of here, right? And it's just stuff that Steve Wright told me about when I was a kid. Steve Wright was a year older than me. He was a big influence in my life. I think I smoked my first cigarette with Steve. I don't smoke anymore, though. I can see you laughing, Beeve. This is incredible, isn't it? And you'll get that module via the Facebook group, right? And then we will have open discussion the next, say, Tuesday or Wednesday. So let's say we give the module out or make it available on a Wednesday. We'll have open discussion, let's say, on a Tuesday or maybe even a Monday. We're going to take input from folks and see what's going to work for them. But that would be after work, you know, when you get off work. So I'm assuming that most people are working a day gig. And that open discussion would be on the computer, and your face will be there, and you'll be able to raise your hand and ask questions, and then pick my brain, and then I can give you my input impromptu, and you know, we can really connect. I've seen this work, and it works really well for other things, and I believe it will work really well for this, because we may even be able to take the phone and go outside, and then I can just point to stuff and say, see, this is how I did this. It's a little hard for people to come here 12 weeks in a row, fly from New Hampshire all the way out to Michigan so I can teach you how to build, say, a corner post. But if you don't know how to build a corner post, your fences are not going to be good. Your animals will get out and your neighbors, and farming won't be fun for you or homesteading. So some of these things, I've learned the hard way, and I can pass this on. So we're targeting 12 weeks, and once you have the modules, they're yours. We don't want you, sell them to Amazon or anything like that. They got enough of our stuff, but I think it'll be good, and I think it'll be great, actually, because the way I teach things, and I learned this from the Air Force, was you want to teach things in such a way that the person you're teaching to can turn around and teach it as well. Right, so we're hoping that the fanning out effect on this is going to be massive. I in no way want to be the keeper of this knowledge. I want it passed on. And it used to work to where your grandparents would pass it to you, your parents would pass it to you. But that's been interrupted. And so this is, and not for everybody, but a lot of these techniques have been with the onset of agribusiness, right, and industrial farming. So, 12 weeks. The introductory price is going to be $300, $299 exactly. And then we're going to ask you at the end to give us like a video testimony that we can put on our website to entice other peoples into our trap, right? No, but just tell people how it worked for you. And this isn't like a how-to homestead. This is more of like a guide service. Because your homestead is not going to look like mine, and I'm going to guide you through it. And a lot of this comes from my background at home and also in the military. It's like we don't want you to have a mistake that's going to blow your leg off. So before you go stepping on anything that's going to go click, we're going to say something to you there. Do not do that. Little mistakes, okay, you're going to recover them, but big mistakes, we don't need those. And when we start getting into livestock, there's some good mistakes that you can make. But one of the things that people do in homesteading is they have an accumulation of little mistakes. They have 50 of them. And so their process becomes burdensome. And we don't want that. We want your process to be smooth, streamlined, and serviceable, easy, and functional, And now this is not commercial farming that we're going to be talking about. This is not like you're going to be selling eggs down at the farmers. This is for you and your friends. There's not going to be any dollars exchanged on these products. That's a completely different thing. And I'm not going to be going into that because that's not what I do. And that's not really my passion anymore anyway. I've had passions change. But commercial farming is not someplace that I'm going to be. I did that for 15 years, and I'm done with that. I did military for 20 years. I'm done with that. And then I was a kid before that, and I'm done with that. Too bad. I'd like to go back. Hang out with Beeve. Okay, that's what I got for tonight. It's Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm. Go to bakersgreenacres.com. Sign up. We want a full class. We can easily accommodate 15, 20 people. And this price that I'm given on this is not going to last. This is just an introductory deal because you guys are going to be my guinea pigs.